Good morning, children. Hope you people have done your first assessment test very well, isn't it? Okay, let us start with the lessons of social. So today I'm going to take geography lesson number 5, as you can see in the clipping. So before starting the lesson, let me tell you a thing about happiness. Today's topic is happiness. Okay, happiness. When we say happiness, immediately the smiley face is coming into your mind, isn't it? The smiley face, isn't it? Happiness. Okay. So the happiness, you have to make happiness, you have to create happiness wherever you go in all other phases as well as in your face, especially in your face. If it is in your face, automatically the person who's next to you, they also will be very happy. Happy in the sense always having a positive thought. Okay, always having a positive thought, everything doing in a positive way, in a positive manner, so you can bring happiness in others as well as in yourself. Okay, so happiness, when I say happiness, you can say another one thing as the government has given the date as October 1 for the reopening of the schools, but unfortunately they have stopped that order, isn't it? They've stopped that order till October 31st. So when it was October 1st, so we all are very happy, isn't it? You're going to see your friends, your teachers, your school. So whatever we have missed, we are going to see all those things. That happiness, that real happiness, isn't it? But for some students, it is not happy, I think, isn't it? So since it is because of pandemic, anything because of like that, so you have to be very very careful because of this pandemic period, children. Because of that only, government has decided and they have stopped that order. Okay, so let's begin with the lesson. So today's topic is about India population, transport, communication and trade. So India population, transport, communication, that is not a big thing, isn't it? You all know India is a populous country, right? Okay, the study on the human population. Okay, it is very very important in geography of any region. So some important components, that is for human population, it has some important components. So that is nothing but the number, the composition, the distribution, and density. So these are the important components of human population. So we have to study these components in order to calculate the population. Okay, so let us see the meaning of population. The total number of people residing, that is staying in a country at a specific period of time, is called the population of that country. So population, you all know, isn't it? The number of people. So you all know that India is the second most populous country in the world. Okay, so next comes the census. So census is nothing but, so population, we are going on saying population. India is the second largest, most populous country in the world. So how they are calculating these population? Okay, how government is calculating? You'll be thinking that each and every, areas, the people will be counted 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Yes, it is like that. It is done for at an interval of 10 years. So every 10 year, there will be a calculation of the population called as population census. So it is a total process of collecting, compiling, analyzing uh, the economic and social data, whatever which is there at a specific time of a person in a country. So that is called as a population census. So altogether they will collect the datas, and in a period of 10 years, in an interval of 10 years. So these data and all, whatever data they are collecting in the census, they will be using it for the administration, for planning, for policy making. So all those things, not only for all these things, for various programs by the government. So a census is made for any country in order to know the population, in order to determine the administration, planning and policy. Next is the distribution and density of population. So when we are talking about population, so we have to see how these population are distributed, as well as in some places population will be more in number, but in some places population will be very less. So why these unevenness are there in the population? So as you all can see, Uttar Pradesh, UP, it is the most populous state in the country. So when we talk about the states in our country, UP is the most populous state, which is followed by Maharashtra, Bihar, West Bengal, then Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. So like this, the population is being distributed more in number there. So why these kinds of distribution? Why it is nothing but because of the industrial centers. So in these areas industrial centers will be more, or some good agricultural lands will be there, or that is I mean, the people whatever they wanted, so those wants may be more in those areas. So because of that, what happened, population will be high in those areas, whereas in some areas population will be very less, that is distribution will be very less. So that is mainly because of high mountains or arid lands, so land which does not contain water, then thickly forested areas, that is remote corners, so where it is not easily you can reach to the nearby area, so those are called as remote corners. So they are very thinly populated. So because of the terrain, that is the surface, the climate, the soil, water bodies, mineral resources, industries, transport, and urbanization, so these are the major factors which affect the distribution of population in our country. So these distribution of population, it results in many factors. Many factors are there because of these uneven distribution of population. So they are physical, socio-economic, and historical ones. So physical factor. What is the meaning of physical factor? So this physical factor is nothing but the climate, the relief, natural vegetation, minerals, and energy resources. They comprises of the physical factor. What is socioeconomic factor? Socioeconomic factor is nothing but the religion, the culture, political issues, economy, human settlements, transport, industrialization, urbanization, employment opportunity. So all these things comprises of socioeconomic factors. So because of all these two important factor, that is a physical as well as the socio-economical factors, these uneven distribution of population are being there in our country. So next is the density of population. So density is nothing but the thickness of population. So the average density of population of India is 382 persons per square kilometer. For 1 square kilometer, 382 persons are there in India. So like that, because of this only, what happened, India is considered as the second most populous country in the world. So how this population is growing, and when there will be a change, so how the changes will be there. So population change refers to an increase or decrease of population of an area in one period to another period. So they'll be having one interval, so in that interval they'll check whether how much of population has been increased or been decreased. So this population growth is influenced by the birth rate, that is if a number of births, death rate, a number of deaths, as well as migration, that is people moving from one place to another. So these are the three important factors which influences the population growth in one area. Next is about the migration. So migration, as I said, people move from one place to another, isn't it? So they move because of more number of people are there, or because of their work. That is, some might be unemployed, or some might be underemployed. So some there doesn't like some water facility won't be there. So like this, many different factors are there where people move from one place to another. That is called as migration. Or some they doesn't want to live in rural areas. They wanted to go for urban areas. So these are the pull factors of migration. Okay. Next is under migration. So we have population composition, age composition, sex ratio, literacy ratio, occupational structure, population dynamics, problems of overpopulation. So we have n number of terms in migration. So population composition is nothing but what are the real composition, so what it comprises of, that is the age, the sex, that is whether it is a male or a female, then the marital status, whether they have married or unmarried, their caste, their religion, language, education, occupation. So all these things, all these compositions together refers to as population composition. Next comes the age composition. It refers to the number of people in different age groups. That is, they'll be terminating it into under the age group of 1 to 5, how many people are there? So, under the age group of 6 to 10, so how many peoples are there? So, like that, they'll be just calculating the people according to the different age groups. Next comes the sex ratio. It is defined as the number of females per thousand male population. So for thousand males, so how many females are there? So while we are talking about that is the size of female population is lower than male. That is in 2011 census, the ratio of the country is 940 males per thousand males. That is, the female ratio is very less. But in Kerala, it is 1084, and in Pondicherry it is 1038 for 1000 males. I'm talking about for 1000 males, it is 1084 in Kerala and 1038 in Pondicherry. Next comes the literacy, educated. So the people who are able to read and write are known as literates. Okay, they'll be calculating according to the literacy level also. Next is the occupational structure. So some people are main workers, some are marginal workers, some are non-workers. Main workers are nothing but they can do any job. Marginal workers only a selective type of jobs. Then the non-workers, the people those who are not working. So all these things are being recorded for the population. Next is the population dynamics. It is a field that tracks the factors which relates to the changes in the size of population, that is, which is making the size of the population, whether it is going to grow or whether it is going to be a small size. So the problems of overpopulation. So you all know that if there is an overpopulation, what will be the problem, isn't it? So it becomes, that is, it creates many socio-economic, cultural problems, political problems, ecological problems, and environmental problems. So these are the problems when there is a overpopulation. Next comes the urbanization. Urbanization, that is nothing but transformation from rural to urban, is known as urbanization. So from the rural areas which is being transformed into an urban areas, it is called as urbanization. So in India, how is urbanization is, that is in terms of percentage. So if while you're talking about Goa is most urbanized state. If you take Goa, it is the most urbanized. So urbanized is nothing but educated, then many facilities should be there. That is all these things, that is the composition, age, sex ratio, all these things comprises of the transformation, how they are transforming. So Goa is considered as the most urbanized state. Then which will be the least state? So that is nothing but Himachal Pradesh. So it is the least urbanized state. Then while we are talking about Tamil Nadu, so it is the second most urbanized state. So how many percentage of urban population? That is 48.4 percentage of urban population are there, which is followed by Kerala and Maharashtra. So impact of urbanization. So if it is being urbanized, so what are the major problems of urbanization? So many problems will be there when there is an urbanization. So when there is an urbanization, automatically what happens? The population also will grow, isn't it? So both urbanization and population go hand in hand. So many metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Kolkata and Delhi, they have more population than that can be accommodated. That is, they cannot accommodate the population. So that much of populations are there in these metropolitan cities. So some of the major problems of urbanization in India. So it creates urban sprawl. So when there is, if many facilities are there in one area, what happens? Many people automatically they tend to move towards these regions. Then because of moving towards these regions, it becomes overcrowding. Then because of overcrowding, there will be shortage of houses will be there. then it leads to the formation of slums. So wherever places are there, they just build one tent or some thatch houses, and they'll be start living. Then because of these overpopulation, traffic congestion will be there, and since people are more in number, water scarcity will be there. Because of water scarcity, if water is there also, what happen, drainage problem will be there. Then they produce lots and lots of solid waste. That is, waste will be more in number if more populations are there. And rate of crime also will be increased, isn't it? More crime will be there. So these are the major problems of urbanization. So next is the transportation, that we'll see in the next class, children. Thank you.